In this video, I want to talk to you all about finding sponsors and sponsorships from local businesses. Check it out. So let's talk all about how to get sponsorship from local businesses. A lot of people think about sponsorship as just a thing that giant companies do. And because they're not an enormous sponsorship opportunity, they'll never get any sponsorship dollars. This is absolutely 100% incorrect. Do mega brands do sponsorship? Of course. But that doesn't mean that local businesses don't. Also, local business is not synonymous with tiny business. So it's important to really broaden what you mean when you say local businesses. In fact, reaching out to local businesses has several distinct advantages. First things first, you want to find businesses that do sponsorship. In other words, companies that use marketing to attract clients and customers. How do you find businesses that do sponsorship? Well, you want to look to see what local sponsorship opportunities are attracting sponsorships from local businesses. The other super high-tech way to find out if someone does sponsorship is to walk into the business and ask. That's one of the main benefits of local business. After all, you can actually just walk into the business and talk to somebody. You can meet them at local networking events. Much easier to connect with decision makers when you're having breakfast with them at the local networking event than trying to track them down online, being one of 10 million emails they received that day. You should also plan to have several sponsors. You're not going out to find that $100 million sponsor. You may not even be looking for that $10,000 sponsor, depending on your geography and the size of your local economy. So you should plan to have several sponsors. In fact, I worked on a campaign for a local food bank type property, charity, and we had $500 sponsors. Now, had we gone out with this idea that we're going to just get a one giant sponsorship from the local lawyer or the local real estate agent, we would have made no money. Instead, we leveraged our network, got a ton of tiny sponsorships throughout the campaign period. And that added up to a lot for this particular charity. Just because you're going after local businesses doesn't mean you get to use the terrible approach to sponsorship sales that it will be, quote, good for the community. You have to define your audience. The local businesses that you're going after are not targeting the entire community as their customers. They have a very specific customer base. In order to know which companies you should approach, you have to know who your audience will be. And if you think your audience is everyone in the community, you're wrong. And even if you're right, it's still a bad strategy, because if your audience is everyone, that means it contains subsets or niche audiences. And those niche audiences are what sponsors are after. Believe me, the local car dealer does not want to sell a car to every single person in the community. They have a target customer in mind and they're willing to pay to connect with that customer. Super important to know what your assets are worth. Going to a local company and asking them for $5,000 just because you want it is not compelling. You have to know whether or not you are competitive to other types of advertising. If they can put an ad in the local newspaper for $1,000 and you charge them $5,000 for just a logo placement and a couple of e-blasts, they're not getting good value. So you really do need to know what your opportunity is worth relative to other forms of marketing that these companies are engaged in. I alluded to this already, but use local connections. Local companies are actually much easier to connect with by networking locally, by talking to people in your network, and making sure that you are visiting these stores. If you are a customer of the local bank or credit union, it's much easier for you to ask to speak to the manager and actually get a meeting with the manager than if you are just cold calling and knocking on doors. Start with those people you know, those people that you're spending money with already, those businesses that you're spending a lot of money in, and then move on to the businesses that your target audience are spending money in. Use those people to make connections, to make introductions, and attend every networking event in your market. And one of the great advantages of being local, is that you don't have to get on a flight to meet with a sponsor, and you don't have to spend 2 hours on Zoom trying to build a connection. You can literally just walk in and meet with them. You can go network in person and make real connections. But when you're selling sponsorship to local businesses, you're doing this in person. Don't just walk up, drop off a sponsorship proposal, and expect the person working the front desk is going to go track down the business owner and hand them a proposal. They won't. You're going to have to do the legwork to get connected to these folks and then meet with them face to face. All right, so down below in the comments, drop your biggest takeaways from this video. And I would love to hear your recommendation, something that's worked for you to connect with local businesses. And remember, sponsorship is done in person. That's why the proposal doesn't make the sale. You do. Good luck out there.